Yeah, I thought the early goal is obviously not something that we want to be doing, especially on the road, giving the home team 1-0. I felt like our line in the back with Maya and Zonka were pretty tight together. And so when the midfielder runs out through the space, I felt like we couldn't manage the run that went off of Elijah and into the space behind us. And that put them in a really difficult, put us in a really difficult situation, and them in a really good spot. And so we just didn't manage the space well. We didn't slide across, and strong side center back has to be able to deal with that, help us deal with that space, and we weren't all the way there. And so that opened us up right off the bat. I felt like as this half progressed, we got a little bit more into our groove and got our setup a little bit clearer and cleaner. We were doing a good job of getting to one side and getting off the other side, and I felt like as we got into the last 20 minutes or so of the first half, don't quote me on the exact minutes, but I really felt like we were starting to find the right solutions to the game and how to build through them and how to switch the play, and we were giving ourselves some good looking attacks, obviously one of which leads to a goal. Then we get to halftime. They adjust the defensive posture. They start dropping a winger with our fullback who's going high. We have to take Amiro off, given our personalities. Again, a little bit and where players were, like with John over on the right. The solutions that I would prefer for that weren't really there for us, given kind of personnel in some ways. And I felt like we didn't settle into the second half and solve the issues of how they were organizing their press against us. We didn't manage time well, and we didn't get into good spots for each other. And as I said to the guys at the end, I think we need to recognize we're on the road. We've had some tough circumstances with personnel. We need to do a little better job of just making game management decisions, shifting the field so that we're playing in their half of the field. We need to be more mindful when we do build the attacks and get to the other half of the field. I felt like we turned over the ball too easily when we did get to their half of the field, and then it just kept the momentum built in us. We shifted the way we wanted to defend to try to put them to the outsides and defend balls into the box. Then we lose Brian White, of all guys, in the box, which was a cross from the sideline and a header from 6 yards out. That just can't happen. I mean, there's too many ways that we should be able to deal with that situation, and we don't. And now we're really chasing. But I felt like, just again, the context of the second game is we didn't find the right solution possession-wise, and we didn't use the ball well when we were able to. And then, that put us into a lot of transition defending types of moments where we weren't really that organized because we weren't using the ball well. And I felt like that just led to, again, us having to reestablish our connections, which I felt like we were getting there, and then we give up a goal off of a situation that we shouldn't. So it was a lot of work to do, and we've got some more injuries stacking up a little bit on us that we've got to deal with.
Yeah, I was going to ask about personnel. Updates on Sanabria, I guess Garces, and then Yamane was out before the game started, but update on him.
Yeah, we'll start with Mickey. End of training yesterday, he was doing his -2 routine at the end of training, which he does a couple high-speed runs that he's done for, since he's been here. And after the first one, he started to feel hamstring a little bit, and so he didn't come with us. It's nothing serious, but it's enough that he'll miss this trip. Let's see. Then we have Amiro. To be honest with you guys, playing on this field was like ice skating. No connection to being in Canada, but the field was very slippery. There was not much footing. Amiro, just his calf on his right side was just tightening up and was rock hard by the time we got to halftime. Again, the footing was just really a little bit sketchy, and I felt like guys were overworking to try to grab onto the turf to try to cut and change directions. Amiro certainly paid for that a little bit. Lucas, fortunately, didn't get his leg broken in the tackle. That was not a yellow card or red card, because that was bad when you look at that on video. But he does have a fracture in his collarbone. So it seems like we'll have to confirm that, but he's certainly immobile because of the collarbone issue. So we're going to have to manage that. That doesn't look good or short term based on initial sort of looks. So those are the three guys from today. I think everybody else more or less got through it okay. Or from today and yesterday.
Finally, I think you talked about Sanabria and that tackle. Just overall, the whole day on refereeing, there seemed to be some, I don't know, I had some difficulty trying to figure out some of those calls. I didn't know if they gave you any indication on why they didn't look at the Sanabria tackle, or if you got any indication on why some of those fouls went that way.
I was baffled all day. On that particular one, he said he got the ball first, so evidently, as long as you get the ball first, you can go through a guy's shin and break his leg, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand the logic. Like, getting the ball is I think irrelevant when your studs are showing and you're going through an ankle of a guy, and I don't know how much of the ball he gets, but I don't know. That's what was deemed on the field. I don't know what was. I guess that was backed up on VAR. So there was a lot of other things in there that I was baffled. I spent too much energy on trying to figure that out sometimes during the game because it was confusing to me. So I share in your astonishment, I guess, if that's the right word.
Thanks, great. Travel safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Greg. Thank you for your time. During the first half, Gabriel Peck gets the goal. The second half, very limited in his touches. Just your analysis on kind of what happened and maybe his less impact in that second half.
Yeah, I think less impact in the second half because most of our builds in kind of zone 1, zone 2, as we call it, in our half of the field, were tending to trend over to our left-hand side. And so the connection between John, who is left-footed also, who had to move over to right back, who will tend to put the ball probably more on his inside, which is left foot. Not just saying John, but in general, we just kept going, even with Novak's decisions, who's left-footed. It felt like we just kept going to the left side, and we were getting stuck on the left side, which meant Gabriel was more isolated in his touches, and we weren't finding great solutions in that direction. And I thought we did a very poor job of being able to recognize where pressure was coming from and get behind the pressure. So if they're pressing us to the left, we need to get behind the pressure and over to the right. And I thought we just didn't do a good job of linking those actions up quickly enough and efficiently enough to get Gabe on the ball, to get Lucas more on the ball on that side, which I thought was a relationship in the first half that was benefiting us. So I kept feeling like between ourselves and a little bit of how they were stepping their press, we were playing right into the pressure. We weren't sharp enough and reading it fast enough to organize the solutions to it, because the solution was to get behind it, like I said, and not go into it.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll wrap with Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much for your time. Elijah Winder got his first start with the team today. What did you see out of his performance? Thanks so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with Elijah, he has some really good qualities and interesting qualities. He's a big, powerful kid who has good soccer sense. The thing that he's going to have to continue to grow and adapt at is just inside and in some of these interior positions, how tight the spaces are and how quick the game has to bounce off of his foot, and being a little bit quicker in some of those actions that he's learning the speed of the game here, and teams are pressing quicker and releasing, and just how clean and how quick sometimes a little combination plays the way we want to play have to get in and out of spaces really quickly, and so those are things that he's continuing to learn and develop. But he, in stretches when we are able to get into attacks, he shows you again his power and length to help join into things and to drive into spaces. Defensively, I felt like again he got caught in between sometimes two roles, and I felt like our back line needed to communicate to him a little bit more. The first half he got very focused on kind of defending the player in the gap, and at times he needed to stay more connected to Eddie and bring Diego a little closer to him to help that situation, and have Maya defend a little bit more underneath him to help him work with Eddie a little bit more. So again, some of it is it's being able to adapt inside of games when teams are doing slightly different things, and reading situations and just understanding how to apply the correct resolution to situations. But again, he's learning, and he has some wonderful physical qualities, and he is a cerebral kid. I think he's trying to step up to a little bit faster level, and not the easiest field to play on today, and he'll grow, he'll learn. He's got some good things to build on.
All right, anything else? Thanks for your time, Greg.
All right, thanks.